Serious financial practitioners do not spend much time contemplating deeper philosophical challenges, but then the same goes for most of us. I do not spend much time contemplating whether the chair I am sitting in really exists or not. Yet that obscure philosophical problem is always there every day whenever I sit in my chair. And so it is with the paradoxes underlying finance. This book consists of a set of particular stories in the philosophy of finance. If all goes well, I hope these stories will give you an inkling of this world of financial curios. In other words, here are case-by-case studies of some basic concepts in finance that take us deep into the territory of paradox. The sources of these stories are various. Some are drawn from my own 20-plus years of real-life experience as a financial executive in the banking sector. Others are famous stories or legends of old. A few tales are entirely apocryphal, a way to deal with abstractions by presenting examples. But all, however odd or enigmatic, are intended to give you some perspective on what's going on inside the world of finance itself. Each story is, you might say, a thought experiment in the laboratory of the philosophy of finance. Our objective is to journey over the metaphorical financial rainbow, or perhaps go with Alice and explore the other side of the financial looking glass. Now, let me also say what this book does not intend to cover. There is already a very large body of mainly academic writing on the so-called philosophy of economics. This writing tends to be technical. Typically, the academic approach covers issues of political philosophy and sociology, demonstrating their impact on economics. One of the burning issues seems to be the question of whether economics is a science on par with the natural sciences. Many of the issues addressed by academicians are couched in very formalistic terms, and their theses are developed through citations of different historical schools of economics, philosophy, or political theory. This book takes another route. My aim is to show what we actually mean when we're talking about some very basic concepts in finance. Each chapter will begin with the story and then go on to analyze what the story might tell us about that fundamental concept. I agree that our understanding of these puzzles and questions needs to be informed by some knowledge of history and substance of philosophy, economics, and social/political theory. But here, I have no intention of engaging in some sterile academic exercise in technical or analytical philosophy. Nor am I going to introduce analyses typically found in academic finance journals. The point is to bring out conceptual conundrums and moral dilemmas that touch all of us in the world of real finance. What I've found is that many people in the finance business do sense these philosophical puzzles whispering in their ears as they go about their daily business. In fact, I suspect that all of us, as we deal with everyday personal financial concerns, have some sense of the paradoxical soup lying just below the surface. But you can't spend a lot of time mulling over the paradoxes when you have income to produce, investments to make, and bills to pay. Dwelling on conundrums would be seriously distracting if it interfered with settling your accounts. To put it another way, the problem of the existence, or not, of the chair I am sitting in seems an absurd problem. Not only pointless, but perhaps even meaningless. Similarly, it might seem like the questions I pose in this book are unrelated to what we would call your real financial life. But anyone confronted with a financial problem will tend to find some of the challenges they have are directly related to the questions I am addressing in this book. If you are facing some financial vexation, you don't necessarily see the issue in overtly philosophical terms, let alone perceive some theoretical paradigm.